Yeah.
You want to like him, but you can't.
Are you listening?
What?
Are you listening?
Did you bring me on this show to insult me?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all don't want it with us, man. We straight gangsters over here.
Straight
man.
gangsters. Yeah, good morning and welcome back. That's right, you are listening to Scout Team Radio. We bring it to you hot and live each and every morning, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m., right here on 12-Ounce Sports Radio. I am one of your gracious hosts. They call me Loudbeard.
You are the most egotistical, self-deluded person I have ever met.
Okay. And then the man on that other microphone, when he has it turned on, is a great American.
Yeah, it's your boy, Chris America, coming to you live this Friday. It is a Friday, Loudbeard. The day after the draft, the day after everyone knows exactly what their first round pick is. We had a few surprises, but I believe, Loudbeard,
I'm listening. You believe
that there is a new top 5 quarterback in this league, and I'm not trying to steal your thunder, but I'm gonna lead you in, buddy. Here you go. If it works. All right, go ahead, take it away, Loudbeard.
Woo! Wow, that's how you get it going in the morning, right there. That is a beautiful song, Chris America. I was singing it on the inside. I was gonna sing along with it, but I think that would have hurt our listeners' ears. So I decided
I sing all the
against
time
that.
on the show.
Yeah, that's right. And yes, that is right. The Washington Redskins, each and every year, they have a top 5 quarterback on their roster. And last night, they just drafted their next top 5 NFL quarterback, and that would be Dwayne Haskins. Wow, this guy, he takes a deep dive, he takes a fall, and everybody had him projected going early, number 5, number 6, somewhere in the top 10.
People
And all of a
trading up
sudden-
for him.
Yes, rumors of the trade up, and all of a sudden he falls, and he falls right into the lap of the Washington Redskins, pick number 15. I know there's some naysayers out there that may not believe that Haskins is the answer, but I will tell you that I'm excited about the future for my Washington Redskins. We're going to fight for old DC right here. I love it. What did you think about this historic fall, Chris America? You just got to listen to this. It's beautiful. Brings a tear to my eye. Tears of joy every time I hear it. Woo! It's
What
better
a
than that
Loudbeard.
Magic song.
I think you addressed the need that you had. And until recently, I thought Dwayne Haskins was everyone's favorite number 2 quarterback in this draft. And that if anybody was going to take a fall, it would have been Kyler Murray if Arizona didn't take him. And so when Arizona took him, everyone, I guess, expected the Giants to, except for my buddy Wayne, who I texted, and he said he's seen several mock drafts with Dwayne Haskins going to the Redskins. And I don't know, I guess if you read enough mock drafts, you'll find several that have scenarios that actually play out the way that it does.
Is that kind of like bracket guy that does 38
Kinda,
brackets,
maybe.
and he's like, that one bracket, it was right. I told you.
Yeah, and so, you know what? This is probably the best Ohio State quarterback that they've had in a while. I know I say that there's never been an Ohio State quarterback to do well in the NFL because there hasn't. But I'm pretty sure this is the first one ever taken in the first round. So that's something different, something new. So the scouts and everybody believe in him. And I don't think he fell not because he was bad. He just fell because there's not really a need for quarterback at many teams. Or you got teams like the Dolphins who are tanking for Tua next year.
Yeah, the Dolphins, they're a train wreck, aren't they?
Yeah.
I feel like they're always a train wreck.
So they took a defensive tackle, which is a total tank move. Like
Yep.
the only way they can double down on this tank move is if they trade up for a punter in round 2,
They might do that. That would be typical.
or
Dolphins
maybe like
right
a long snapper.
I know they were going to save the long snapper for round 3.
That's true. You can find good solid long snappers in round 3.
You can. There's lots to choose from.
There's lots of long snappers in round 3.
Now, we do have the Twitter line open this morning. You can hit us up at Scout Team Radio like we want all of our listeners to do. Hit us up. And last night, there was another non-sporting event on, and I watched it from start to finish, and that would be Craft Brewed Sports' 3-year anniversary. I put the draft on in the background, and I focused all my attention to that. And our good friend from Craft Brewed Sports, Scott Kaiser, he's tweeting in, "This is a hot take, Chris America. Hold up. I hope you're sitting down. I'm more interested in how it came to pass the team with the racist logo took a black quarterback with a bumbling owner and somehow got it right. Can you guys break that down for me, please?"
So go ahead. This is your team, not mine.
Oh, man.
I'm out.
Yeah, the logo, the quarter.
Hold on. First of all, I don't think the
know.
logo is racist. I think the name is what is racist. Like I don't think it's.
Can you
I
say
don't
it's a
understand
little
why
bit
it's-
of both?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it's kind of like that Cleveland Indians logo that they had to get rid of. But I guess the Redskins one's a little bit more, I don't know, authentic, less cartoony.
is authentic really the word? I mean, yeah, it is less cartoony.
I don't know what the word is. So
I mean,
here's
to me,
what
the
happened.
logo is just a picture of a Native American. I don't know how that is particularly racist. I can be corrected. I'm not gonna sit there and tell people how they should feel, but I do understand why the name Redskins is racist. Like that isn't lost on me.
Yeah, it's the name's been around forever. That's how we've always done it. That's how
Yeah, but
how you know.
I do believe within
different
our
world
lifetime,
nowadays.
if we live to be 80, within our lifetime, the Washington Redskins will have their name changed eventually. Maybe they could be the
Yeah.
Washington. Maybe they could be the Washington Bullets.
So I have mixed feelings about that just because I mean I think it will happen. It's just I don't know. I've always rooted for this team, so I don't know how I would do with a new team name. Like I still love them the same way like my own child? I probably would, but I don't know.
But it wouldn't be the
That's-
first time it happened in sports, you know? And for various reasons. Like I mentioned the Washington Bullets as a joke, and I'm really upset that you didn't laugh. But I'll get over it. I'll cry a couple of tears tonight, but I'll get over it. But you know, I mean, they changed the Washington Bullets to the Washington Wizards, the New Orleans Hornets.
bullets because they shoot people.
Well,
we don't
yeah,
want
and
that.
they have butterfly wings.
You're right. And then we have the Devil Rays. They changed their name because
Yeah,
we don't like
which-
devils because that's
guess.
satanic.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that. Although
Yeah,
I do,
so as long as you shoot people or are satanic, we'll change your name. But if you're racist,
and then
we're
Hornets
keeping it.
Hornets sting people, so I guess that's why they changed their name to Pelicans.
But they went back to the
Um,
Hornets.
I do like when teams move that they change their name. Like I think that's a definite must. I can't stand if they were to be called the Baltimore Browns, it would be ridiculous. I would hate it. Just like the Houston Oilers moving to Tennessee makes no sense. But there's no oil in Tennessee, so why are you going to be called the Tennessee Oilers?
Like the Los Angeles Lakers, for example.
Yeah, makes no sense.
They were at what? The Minnesota Lakers?
Yeah,
back
they're the
in
Minnesota Lakers because
Yep.
that's what the land of 1,000 lakes or 3,000 lakes, whatever it is, 30,000 lakes. So it made sense that they were called the Lakers.
Yeah. And now they're in Los Angeles, where it's just a bunch of dirty retention ponds and
Yeah.
hobos. Yeah, so what are we talking about again? Oh, that's right, the racist Redskins logo.
Yeah.
We went on a little bit of a tangent there, but the point is that the bumbling owner may have gotten this right, but I think it fell into his lap. From historical outlook on this guy, he always makes mistakes. Now, he gets a lot of heat for that whole RG3 trade-up deal that he did a few years back, and that ended up not working out But year one, everybody thought that RG3 was the best quarterback to come out of that draft. They were thinking he was better than Andrew Luck after he had that just electrifying run, brings the Redskins to the playoffs, and then he just disappears after that bad knee injury. And so you can go back and you can criticize these picks, but we really won't know if this was a good pick until 3, 4, 5 years down the line, and that's the hard part. So we're going to analyze this to death right now, and I want this to be a good pick, and I'm hoping that this is the right pick, but I don't know, and we will see what happens, but I am hoping that my bumbling owner somehow got this right with this new Dwayne Haskins pick. I love it, and I didn't even mention, Chris America, while we're on the Redskins, they also made another move. They traded up late in the first round to pick up Montez Sweat, and I thought that was a fantastic move. So I'm ecstatic about what my Washington Redskins did in the first round. Hail to the Redskins, my friend. Hail to the Redskins.
I think no matter what happens with this pick, if he becomes the next, what was it, Josh Freeman? I think the Bucs took Josh Freeman like rounds, like number 16, 17.
Yeah.
If you're taking like number one, you took a position of desperate need. You have a desperate need at quarterback that you either you're just there's no other way to fill that position any other way, any better way than what you did yesterday or last night. There's no free agents out there for you to sign. Well, there are. They're just all terrible. They're all like the same that you had last year. You had Mark Sanchez. What was the name of that one kid that came in that nobody ever heard of?
Josh Johnson.
Yeah,
Colt
Josh
McCoy.
Johnson, Colt McCoy. So those are your other options. So it's either use your first round pick that you didn't trade up for, that you didn't give up anything for, number 17, on a guy that, like we said earlier, a lot of people had him going to the Giants at 5 or 6, wherever the Giants were. I think they were at 6.
They were at 6.
They picked Daniel Jones instead, which we thought the Giants would take Dwayne Haskins, and then you guys would probably end up with Daniel Jones. And they took Daniel Jones, so you had the next quarterback, the best available quarterback in the draft. It was a desperate position of need. So if he turns out to not work out, it's still not a bad pick.
No, I 100% agree with you. I mean, hopefully he's not the Josh Rosen of this draft. We don't want that. But, of course, the jury's still out on Rosen. He may end up being a backup or get traded. Whatever he ends up being, we don't know. But when you draft a quarterback, like when you pick one first overall and they end up being a bust, yeah, that's going to be a huge problem. But when you're in that 12th pick, 15th pick, 17th pick, and you pick a quarterback, you're really hoping for a value there, and I think the Redskins got a value, and I think this is, like you mentioned, a position of need and the right thing to do for the Washington Redskins. So I'm ecstatic about how they finished this draft in the first round. I don't even care about the rest of the draft. I'm good.
Yeah, your team did well. You have a lot to be excited about. My team got an outside linebacker, which is fine.
No. You're missing the point here. The point is that your team picked a Florida State Seminoles college player, and you absolutely hate the Florida State Seminoles. So now I need to know, are you going to welcome this guy with warm embrace because he's got all that Seminole love in him, or are you going to hate this young man, Brian Burns? I mean, he's even probably got a tattoo of the Seminoles logo on his shoulder or something. I'm just making that up, but that could happen. You're going to still love this guy like he's your own?
Yes, reluctantly. It's kind of like it took me a little while to like Jonathan Isaac on the Magic because he was a former Seminole player. But then the longer you see them in their uniforms of their professional team, you really stop seeing them as the college player. You see them as the NFL player. If they have a long-standing career, like I don't look at Luke Kuechly and think Boston College. I think Luke Kuechly, Carolina Panthers through and through. Or, you don't see Auburn when you look at Cam Newton. You just see Cam Newton, the Carolina Panthers quarterback. That's just kind of the way it is in sports. Now, if they don't last that long, like Tim Tebow, he didn't last that long, so you're always going to see Tim Tebow as a Florida Gator.
Yeah, I look at Tim Tebow as a Denver Bronco.
Well, that too. I mean, he did have 316 passing yards and a victory over the Pittsburgh Steelers in a playoff game.
Yeah, that was the highlight of his career. Nothing else that he did was as good as
nothing.
that. Nothing. Okay, so other
Kyler
draft.
Murray.
Yes.
Let's
other
talk about the
draft
top
stuff.
of the draft. Now that you got your Redskins out of the way, we'll talk about the top of the draft. Kyler Murray goes number 1.
No
we
surprises there, right?
No surprises there. We did say that was all smoke screens. All this, they're going to trade away the pick, or they're going to pick this. I don't remember who it was that they said they called, but they called this other guy and said that, oh, you're on the top of our draft board and everything. So none of that came to fruition. They selected Kyler Murray, like we've been pretty much assuming all winter and early spring long, and we'll see how it works. I think it's a good move for Arizona, who went all in on Cliff Kingsbury. I think if you're going to hire Cliff Kingsbury, which I thought was a terrible hire, but if you're going to hire him, give him a quarterback that knows his system, and that's what they did.
Oh yeah, this is perfect for the Cardinals. Brings a lot of excitement to the team, because last year the Cardinals had zero excitement. I love Larry Fitzgerald, but he's kind of a very like low level as far as making a lot of noise and talking to the media and off the field stuff. Like, he just goes in and does his work. So there's not a lot of like extra excitement because he's always been there and the fans know he's going to be there. Other than that, what else was there? David Johnson's recovering from injuries and he's okay, but there's no excitement for this Cardinals team. And the way Josh Rosen played, they're like, we need somebody to come in and be that Baker Mayfield that just ignites the city. Baker Mayfield was perfect for Cleveland, and I think Kyler Murray is going to be perfect for Arizona. So I love this pick, and like you said, we knew this all summer long. I mean, or all winter long,
spring long,
spring, fall.
As soon as
one
they
of the
hired
seasons.
as soon as they hired Cliff Kingsbury, and that quote of him being like, "If I was a NFL coach, I would take him number 1," and he tried downplaying that and everything, but he made the right choice. Now comes the Josh Rosen thing, and we talked about how there's not a desperate need for quarterback, or there's teams like the Dolphins who don't want to address that issue yet. They want to wait another year and hopefully get Tua. Who do you think would really go out and trade for Josh Rosen? Here you get the 10th pick overall from last year. He's not going to demand a high value. Like, you're not going to have to spend a first-round pick. I don't think so. But who out there needs a quarterback?
That's a good question. While I'm thinking about that, I'm going to toss this back to you. Do you think he gets traded by the end of the draft? Do you think Rosen's off of the Cardinals by the end of the weekend?
I think the longer the Cardinals hold on to him, the less value they will get. Because then, like, it's showing that there's not a huge demand for Rosen. And so if the draft ends and nobody's traded for him, then all the teams know that the demand's not there, so they can offer less. And the only way that the demand's ever going to rise again is if they keep him on the roster, and then something like your Redskins or something like my Carolina Panthers happens where our quarterback goes down, and now they want to go and get a trade for him.
Okay. Yeah, the injury thing is definitely would play into the whole situation, but I would say that he's going to be gone by the end of the weekend, and there's going to be a team, may I say the Oakland Raiders, where John Gruden's not in love with Derek Carr. Derek Carr's often injured, and they need a solid backup to be able to come in where he could get a value for him, trade, let's say, a second or third round pick, get a guy like Josh Rosen that could be the future of the Raiders at quarterback. Just throwing that out there. And Gruden, he likes to be a little bit of a wild card, and he loves quarterbacks. Anytime a top quarterback's available, he's in that conversation. Dolphins,
no. Like, he's not in the conversation with top quarterbacks. He's in the conversation with guys like who's that guy from the Bills? Why can't I think of his name that threw all those interceptions?
Doug Flutie.
No, Nathan Peterman. That's when he's in the conversation. When he's on ESPN, he's like, I like this Nathan Peterman kid. He is NFL ready. See, that's where John Gruden is. He's not around the Patrick Mahomes or the Baker Mayfield conversations. He's on the Nathan Peterman trains.
Nathan Peterman, Josh Rosen, Jake Plummer. He loves all of them. That's where John Gruden is. But I could see him in that conversation for Rosen just because he wants additional quarterback help, and he loves quarterbacks, and he would have 4, 5, 6 quarterbacks on his roster if he could. So I'm just saying, I like the Oakland move, trying to pick up Rosen. You mentioned the Dolphins. Yeah, Dolphins might be in play for Rosen. There's been rumors about that. I think that is a very good possibility. And I'm trying to think around the league what other teams have a need for him. And we talked yesterday quite a bit about these aging quarterbacks. The 2004 draft when you have Phillip Rivers. Well, who's going to be the heir apparent there? So what if I almost said San Diego, Los Angeles ended up trading for Josh Rosen to be the guy in waiting behind Phillip Rivers? Same thing when you think of Ben Roethlisberger. The Steelers really could use that next guy in waiting, even though they just gave Roethlisberger a 2-year contract. I mean, 2 years is quick, and Rosen's the type of guy that could sit for 2 years and then come be the starter. Or Roethlisberger gets hurt so much, Rosen's probably going to play a lot anyway. So Steelers would be a great landing place for Rosen.
No, Steelers would be a great place for Rosen to land, or the Chargers. We talked about it yesterday that the 04s, the Steelers, the Giants, and the Chargers need to address these old aging quarterbacks. 04 was 15 years ago, guys. It's time to start getting your next plan, your future ready. And the Giants addressed that issue yesterday. Now the Steelers and the Chargers need to address that issue, and I like that. Maybe have Josh Rosen sit behind, Phillip Rivers or Ben Roethlisberger. So I like that. But we have a request, Loudbeard, for us to talk about the number 2 overall pick, which was Bosa that went to some team out west. I don't know. They're not important. Nobody cares about them.
Oh yeah. What are they called? The 69ers?
Yeah.
Okay. So, no, actually, solid pick there. Nobody's going to say that this is a bad pick, right? Like, this is a good pick. He's more of a surefire Pro Bowler than any other player in the top 5, in my opinion. I think there's question marks on a guy like Kyler Murray because of height, because of him being a quarterback. You never quite know what you're going to get in a quarterback when they go from the college level to the NFL. But when you go with a guy like Bosa, who is a defensive guy who his brother's already in the NFL, very similar characteristics. I mean, to me, that's a slam dunk. And the 49ers got that right. They did the right move and made, I'll call it the safe pick, but it's also the right pick. And no complaints here. I think they hit that one out of the park. So hopefully they don't screw up the rest of their picks.
All right, so our other co-host that's no longer on the show, Anthony Mack, the man with the golden mic, the male aficionado, is a huge Green Bay Packers fan. And our running joke on the show with him is that the Packers always select DBs. Mostly cornerbacks, but DBs in general. And with their first pick, they took a defensive end. And with their second pick, they took a safety.
Always.
They're still collecting DBs in the first round, man.
I don't know how many secondary guys they can pick, but they keep doing it. When they picked the defensive end on the first time, I was like, I wanted it to be a cornerback.
Yeah.
So bad so we could rip on them. The Packers, they stink at drafting. They used to be one of my teams that I'd say, okay, the Packers always make a smart move. They got Aaron Rodgers. They picked up Jordy Nelson early. They picked up Greg Jennings early. It was always like under the radar guys, but those are all offensive guys. When they draft defensive players, they struggle. They picked up a guy like A.J. Hawk really early in the draft years ago, and he ended up not ever quite panning out. I just feel like they miss a lot on these early draft picks. They've picked 17 cornerbacks in the last 2 drafts. One of those guys has to start for your team. I don't understand how you can continually pick that many defensive players and still not have a good defense. It just boggles my mind.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that they should have taken a running back in the first round because other than the kid from Kentucky, Benny Snell, I don't think there was many good running backs that I felt were ready for the NFL or ready for being a number 1 pick in the draft. Not overall, but just for somebody. And so, yeah, they're still going defensive players. And one of the bold predictions we went over yesterday, Loudbeard, and this was another big story, was will Greedy Williams be a top 5 pick? No. Will he be a top 10 pick? Nope. All right, maybe he'll be a top 15. Top 25? Okay, he'll be the last pick in the first round, right, Loudbeard?
Yeah. No, I don't even think he's a first rounder at this point.
No, he's
God,
not.
What is this
The
all
first
about?
round went through, and a lot of people
No.
were talking highly about Greedy Williams. That was a name that popped up. I don't, like I said, I don't follow the draft or the NFL. I'm more of like a game watcher. Let me know when the games are on. I will care about names when they prove it on the field. That's just how I am. I do it with recruiting and I do it with the NFL draft. If it's not a Florida Gator or a player I had fun watching in college football, I don't really care. But Greedy Williams was talked about a lot, and you'd mentioned that one website gave a bold prediction that he would go top 5, and that's got to be like one of the worst bold predictions ever, that you pick a guy to go top 5 and he doesn't even go in the first round.
I don't know that any of those bold predictions came true, though. When I'm looking back,
No, we had the 3 quarterbacks taken. We did have
No,
a
it's-
wide. Oh,
the bold
yeah.
prediction was 2 quarterbacks. Well,
Oh,
only
okay.
2 quarterbacks go in
and
the
I
first
said,
round.
Yeah, I did say nay to a lot of them, didn't I? So I was the one who was right.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Because they also said no wide receivers taken. We actually had 2 wide receivers, I believe. The Patriots took one, and who was the other team? Oh yeah,
Ravens picked up
the Ravens
Marquise Brown.
picked up Marquise Brown.
Yep. They got to give their guy some help, right? They got the young quarterback that they want to continue to grow.
Right.
Got to give them some
And
help.
their receiving core has been kind of like they've always gone the old man route, and they had like Steve Smith, who was good, very productive, but just on his way out the door. And I can't
like
remember
last year,
that.
they grabbed Crabtree.
Right, Crabtree. And then the year before that, who was that wide receiver they got? Was it Bolden? Anquan Bolden? They got him kind of later on in his career. So now they're going young. Maybe that'll work out for them.
Yeah, they need it. This guy's a speedy guy, so hopefully with Lamar Jackson's arm, this will be a good connection. Chris America, you had mentioned this whole running back situation. You only liked Benny Snell, but only one running back goes in the top of the draft. And this guy I kind of questioned a little bit because in college, he really wasn't like a bell cow back. He was more of an alternative back, but Alabama's Josh Jacobs goes to the Oakland Raiders, and I haven't talked about the Raiders enough, but the Raiders getting a lot of criticism for their first 3 draft picks. So they go the running back at pick number 24. Is that too early to reach for this guy, in your opinion?
Well, like I said, I felt like there wasn't, other than Snell from Kentucky, he's the only running back that I watched last year, and I'm like, man, that kid's going to be beast in the NFL. I can't wait for my fantasy football draft because I think he's going to be like a good steal that maybe people will sleep on. It's just another Alabama running back, and to me, they don't pan out like they don't look like they do on Alabama. They just don't. I mean, Ingram is good, but Alvin Kamara came in and instantly became the number 1 running back easily. Took that job from him. Ingram was like solid. He was productive, but he wasn't the Heisman Trophy winning first round pick running back that you needed to pick at that point. Richardson, he's like running around on an AAF team right now. And TJ Yeldon, all those running backs that went to Jacksonville, they've never really panned out. And there just really isn't. Mark Henry, he had that one monster game, but like, has Henry really been doing anything consistently good?
Yeah, I mean, he's
I
got
almost
potential.
called him Mark Henry, by the way.
Derrick Henry. Yeah, the world's strongest man.
The
Derrick
world's
Henry.
strongest man, Mark Henry.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. So I don't know if this was a good pick for the Raiders. The Raiders also reached for their number 4 pick, and this was that first shocker of the draft when the Raiders pick comes in, and all of a sudden it's Clelin Ferrell.
Clemson.
Wait, everybody's like, who? That's like a.
That's John Gruden for you.
Mm.
That is John Gruden for you, man. That is him in a nutshell.
Yeah.
We got
That was a
hot
tough
tweet.
one.
A hot tweet coming in, and I agree with Scott Kaiser. The wide receiver DK Metcalf didn't get taken in the first round. The NFL scouts, the NFL GMs did not fall for the Arnold Schwarzenegger hype.
No, that's a good thing. I actually thought that too. I was looking. I'm like, okay, no DK Metcalf. All right, these guys know what they're doing. It's the media that has no idea what they're doing because they hype this guy up.
Yeah, they did. And something that we're going to have to hype up a little bit, Loudbeard, because we talked all NFL. On the other side of the break, we do have our Fantasy Friday draft, and it's a doozy. It's got to do with the Avengers because, Endgame's coming out. We're all excited. You're all excited. The fans are all excited. And we're going to talk about that. But we do have a Game 7 in the NBA playoffs.
That we do. Hey, Kawhi, what are you laughing at, man? This isn't funny. Fantasy sports reimagined. FanDuel, that's what I'm talking about. It is more than just fantasy sports. It's the best way to watch the games, win real cash, and bring the action right to your living room. Just choose a contest, make your picks, watch, and win. And if you go to FanDuel.com/STR today, you can get a $5 deposit bonus. Once again, that's FanDuel.com/STR. Come on, man. This is not a laughing matter.
When I'm working hard, I build up a thirst for sports. That's when I grab a cold 12-ounce sports radio. "12-ounce sports radio. Quench your sports thirst."
If you've been listening to Scout Team Radio for a long time, you know that myself, Loudbeard, has placed a bet or two in his day. That's right, I've lost the beard bet, I lost the romper bet, but one place I don't like losing is when I bet money, and I can easily do that at MyBookie. That's right, you can go to mybookie.ag, use promo code 12OZSports, and get a 100% deposit bonus up to $1,000. Hey, guess what? That is a lot of money. Do it.
Hey everybody, it's your favorite Patriot, Chris America, and I want you to listen every single weekday, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., and on replays from 11 a.m. to noon of Scout Team Sports. Listen, George Washington did not cross over the ocean blue in 1492 to defeat the Nazis, so you can listen to the same tired national clickbait sports stories. So once again, tune in to us every single morning, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., and then we replay from 11 to noon. I will see you there, and God bless America.
All right, welcome back. Thank you all for listening in. Once again, we are Scout Team Radio. We bring it to you hot and live each and every weekday morning, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. We come live on 12-ounce sports radio, and now we are being simulcasted on Full Press Coverage Radio. We're excited to be a part of their network now also, coming live every morning, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. We also replay on 12-ounce sports radio at 11 a.m. Make sure you check out the replay if you can't get up early enough for the original, which I think you should get up early enough because we're worth it. We are worth it. That's right. And we also record every episode as a podcast. You can check out that podcast at Apple Podcast, Spotify Podcast, anywhere you find a podcast, just search Scout Team Radio or go to our podcast network partner. That's Barnburner, the podcast network Barnburner. You can check them out at barnburner.ca. And lastly, make sure you always hit us up on Twitter at Scout Team Radio. We like getting tweets in. With all that being said, Chris America, you're right. We have a great fantasy draft today. We love doing Fantasy Draft Friday, but I feel like there's like a ton of news stories that we didn't hit. We'll go maybe rapid fire and then hit into our draft. Do you want to do that? Or you want to do draft and then try to finish it off at the end?
Well, what do you got for a rapid fire? Like, how many topics do we have? I
40,
feel like we got to talk about.
43.
I feel like we do have to
them.
talk about this Spurs Nuggets game. I mean, that's how big the NFL is too, though. Like, we're all NBA, NFL draft. Boom, half hour spent on the NFL draft, and I think we could have spent the whole hour talking about the draft.
All right. Well, I do always have my segment, Hockey Talk. I'll do this quickly. Hockey Talk brought to you by Loudbeard. Bruins take Game 1 in overtime, 3-2 over the Columbus Blue Jackets. Also, the Blues, they get a 3-2 win and take their first game of the series. And that was Hockey Talk, brought to you by Loudbeard. All right,
Also
was that
brought
good
to you
enough?
by, also brought to you by Toys R Us.
Oh, I love Toys R Us. Our other sponsor, Blockbuster, backed out. I don't know what their deal is. I'll have to get in touch with them. Tyreek Hill, he's asked to stay away from the Chiefs as they're continuing to do an investigation. Audio clip comes out. Oh, bad
It's
look
not
for
a good look. I think it's
Mm-mm.
I hate to say it, but I think they're gonna distance himself. Roger Goodell's probably gonna suspend him, and right or wrong, it's just not a good look. The NFL can't have these things happening all the time.
And they've already took a hard stance on Kareem Hunt when that video
Right.
came out. So now
And-
it's like you've already set that precedent. You almost have to
Right.
just yeah.
And it's worse because it's dealing with a child. I hate if people disagree with that, that's fine, but to me, child abuse is a step above, attacking some woman that's cursing you out or maybe calling you racial slurs or whatever, we don't know, but there's just absolutely no excuse for child abuse.
There is none whatsoever. I had one other story before we talk about Game 7. That was just Russell Westbrook. He comes out. He's defending his own honor. They have this exit interview type press conference, and he says nobody can do what he does. He also talks about he's going to get criticized no matter what. He said first everybody criticized him about being a ball hog, and he said he led the NBA in assists 3 years in a row, and now everybody criticizes his shooting. He said he's going to come back better than ever next year, be a better shooter. And he said then somebody will find something else to criticize him on. He said maybe it'll be his left foot being a little bit bigger than his right foot. He's like, I don't know what it is, but they'll find something. So everybody's always criticizing, but nobody does what I do.
Yeah. And it's just I don't get it. He seems like a decent guy, good guy off the court. Is he a little rough around the edges? Sure, but I don't think he deserves all the criticism that he gets and all the hate.
Yeah, I don't think so either. He's got to win some playoff games, though. That's his next step. Next year, he can't go out another first round exit because that's really what's driving a lot of this criticism at this point. Regular season is the regular season. Playoffs, that's when you win all of your accolades and all. That's where all the glory is, and that's what he's got to do. So tell us about this Game 7, Chris America. What happened last night?
Well, last night the Spurs happened last night. They decided to come out on their home floor. They're not going to go down without a fight, and they just balled out. Aldridge and DeRozan, 26 and 25 points each. They came out. LaMarcus Aldridge had 10 assists, 7 assists for DeRozan. I mean, they were just going to town on the Nuggets, and it was a good game. Fourth quarter, the Spurs just turned it on with a 30-18 fourth quarter and won 120-103.
Yeah, it was a great performance by the San Antonio Spurs. Now, Jokic had 43 points for the Nuggets, but it just wasn't enough because the Spurs are not, like you said, not going down without a fight. So, first Game 7 of the NBA playoffs. I'm excited for that, but there is something else that I'm excited for. That is the end game for San Antonio and Denver, and we know the Avengers end game is coming out this weekend, so we have set up a draft. Chris America, tell us, how do you want this draft to play out? We're doing Avengers, all the ones that appeared in Infinity War. Is that what we're drafting?
I think so. Or do you want to just pull up the list of characters from, or do you think that'll be too many spoilers if we, I mean, I guess if you want to look up the list of characters in Endgame, you can. I don't know. No. I don't want to look at it because I don't want to know who's alive, who comes back to life. I don't want to see any of that. Let's just stick to Infinity War. If you haven't seen Infinity War by now, then that's on you.
Yeah, spoilers ahead for Infinity War, which is the movie that came out a long time ago that doesn't have anything to do with the one this week. Well, I guess it has everything to do with it. But yeah, I'm actually going to kind of do the LeBron James until tomorrow afternoon when I watch Endgame and go like 0 Dark 30 on social media. There's just too many trolls out there for me to. I can't take chances scrolling through a Twitter timeline or something, or even on Facebook. Like Facebook, it's like closer friends than on Twitter, it seems like, but I don't know if I trust all those fools. So I think I'm going 0 Dark 30.
So this is going to be a hard draft, Loudbeard. Probably one of the hardest. Yeah. Probably one of the hardest we've done in a while. Because I want to pick what I like, but then I also want to overthink it and pick what I think the fans like. But it's so diverse as to who likes who better, so I'm going to stick to what I like. and then kind of as the draft goes on, start picking guys or gals that I think the fans would like. So I believe I have the first pick, right?
You do.
Okay.
The floor is yours.
I'm going to take my favorite Avenger, which is Thor. I think he's the most powerful Avenger. I believe he could beat up, almost any character in the fantasy world. I think he could take on. I think he could beat up Darth Vader. I think he could kick the crap out of Superman. Like, there's not many characters in the imaginary universe of mankind that I don't think Thor could take on and win. So with my number 1 overall pick is Mr. Hemsworth himself, Thor.
All right, that's a solid pick right there. Now, were you upset when he cut his long Goldilocks?
A little bit, but he honestly looked better without the long hair. I like the whole short hair with the scruff.
Yep, I like it too.
And then even with the missing eye. At first I didn't like the missing eye, but then the missing eye kind of grew on me. But now he's got his eye back, so it's like, his eyes are dreamy. So
it's all true. All right, so I got to go with my number 1 pick, and it is the main man himself, Robert Downey Jr. playing Iron Man. And I look back at the very first Marvel production, and that was Iron Man, and that movie started it all. He's the original Avenger in this series, and back to when he was building his own suit in that little dark cave to get himself out. That moment just still resonates with me. So to me, a place in my heart is the playboy, billionaire, philanthropist, and that is Tony Stark, Iron Man, with my number 1 pick.
So here's where I get caught in the weeds with that whole, do I pick what I like or do I pick what I think fans will like? So for me, Thor is really the only the only Avenger out of the original Avengers of, the first movie. He's the only Avenger I actually like. I think the rest are just kind of they're okay characters. Not a fan of Hulk at all. I think Hulk is such a dumb character. I think it's just he just has no personality or character to the Hulk. Now, Bruce Banner has some character and he has his issues, but it's just not a storyline or a character that I relate or connect to. Captain America, I know, is a fan favorite, and I know that's who I should pick with number 2. That's the smart pick.
And you're Chris America, your brother.
And I'm Chris America, but see, I'm more of the anti-hero guy. I'm more of the guy that doesn't play by the rules, and that's kind of what Iron Man is. Although I think he's just a little bit too cocky for my liking. I'd love to see Iron Man and Deadpool in a room together just to see how that goes, see how that conversation ends up. So with all of that said, after I've talked everybody's ear off, I think I'm going to go with Captain America, but I'm not going to like it.
Oh, okay. Good. I'm glad you picked that.
I'm going with what I think. No. Yes. That's
right.
what I'll go Captain America.
All right. Well, Chris America, Captain America. I get where you're going with that.
I'm kind of regretting it though, because I think you're going to pick my next pick.
I probably won't.
All right. I hope you don't.
All right. So I've got to go. This one I think is a fan favorite. Now he came a little bit later in the game because of rights issues, but
okay, good.
The teenager that is near and dear to all of our hearts, and that is Spider-Man. I got to go Spider-Man with my number 2 pick.
So that's who I was thinking about going with, and then I went. That was another character. Like Spider-Man's okay.
Man, Spider-Man's fantastic. He's a standalone guy. He doesn't need the Avengers to be. He can have his own universe because he's got so many great villains, and I love a lot of the Spider-Man stories. So I got to go Spider-Man. That's my guy.
All right. So you branched out of the original Avengers, and I'm going to do the same. And he also came in late in the game, not because of rights. It's just because nobody knew exactly what they had here or how big this character could be, and they should have. They should have come way sooner to this conclusion, but maybe they needed to wait for the right actor, the right storyline, the right writers, and the right technology and filmmaking technology to do this movie justice. And that, of course, is Black Panther. I think if Black Panther, yeah, I think if Black Panther came out in like '95, maybe it would have been trash because it wouldn't have had the right actor. Like you couldn't do all of the crazy CGI stuff that we had with Wakanda and all those cool little gadgets and inventions and things of that sort. So did it take them too long to make this movie? Yes, but I think this time period in filmmaking was the perfect time to release Black Panther.
Now, I ask you, if that would have came out, let's say 95 or 2005, and
Uh-huh.
Denzel was selected as the actor, would it have been as successful?
Maybe, I don't know. I would say yes. I mean, Denzel's a huge actor. It's a huge name. He's a big draw. So I think it would be a huge hit. I just don't know if the storyline and, like I said, all the other things that surround it would have worked. And I don't know if Denzel would have taken that part. Like, I don't know if Denzel's the guy that says, yeah, I want to go play a superhero. I don't know Denzel Washington well enough. I mean, people say I look like him, but that's where, like, my connection with Denzel really ends.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Well, now you put me in a spot because you're right. Black Panther was the one that was still hanging there.
Yeah, that's the one that I was worried that you were going to take.
Yeah, I should have, because voting-wise, he's going to slam dunk. You're probably going to kill me just because of Black Panther. He's very polarizing. But when I'm looking at this, now I've got some options, right? I've got to look, do I want to take a female superhero? Because there are some good ones. Black Widow's been around since the very beginning. Do I take the one that you hate in the Hulk? Because I kind of like the Hulk. I've always, I don't know, the raging monster inside, and then the turmoil. I feel like there's so many more layers to Hulk than you gave him credit for. And, I thoroughly enjoyed him in Ragnarok. I thought that added a lot to his, I guess, character. It made him a little bit more three-dimensional instead of being this 2D guy. So I do like Hulk. Guardians of the Galaxy, that's hard because I like all of them. Like, can you just pick one? So Chris America, I'm going to do it. I talked myself into this. I think I'm going to go Hulk with my third pick. I know you're probably sitting back laughing at me because you would never have selected him, but I got to go with the Hulk. He's a classic Avenger and classic comic book character, and I just like him. Raging monster.
All right, we got our Twitter co-host chiming in. He says, did Chris America just say Spider-Man is just okay? You are very lucky, my friend. You came back with Black Panther. I will say this. Spider-Man, Peter Parker Spider-Man is just okay to me. But I love Miles Morales Spider-Man and Into the Spider-Verse, and I'm excited. That's a character I can get behind. That's a character that I loved. Peter Parker is just, I don't know, man. I just don't have a connection to Peter Parker. It's a good story. I'm not saying it's a bad storyline. I'm not saying I hate it. I go out and I watch Spider-Man movies. I have fun with it. But when I'm making my list of like top 10 Marvel characters, I don't know that I get to Spider-Man in that list. At least Peter Parker Spider-Man. That's just me.
Interesting.
All right, Loudbeard. I'm going to go with my pick. And I think I'm going to go with another favorite of mine. Love him to death as a character. Not very good of a superhero, but I just love him, the character, and I think most people agree. I'm going to go with Star-Lord.
Dang.
The scenes with him and Thor are just fantastic. He's hilarious. Chris Pratt, perfect casting for Star-Lord. I mean, if anything that Marvel Universe has gotten right, it's been their casting. Their casting has been phenomenal. Like, there's not a single person that they've casted where I'm like, nope, don't see it. Doesn't look right to me. They've hit it out of the park. And Chris Pratt playing Star-Lord is perfect. And the Guardians of the Galaxy movies are fantastic. And he was great in the Avengers movies. So I'm going Star-Lord.
All right, so I'm going to have to say, wow, this is getting tough, Chris America. I think we're getting down to the nitty-gritty, and I'm thinking back. I'm like, who is another really good character that I loved in all of this? And I have to go with Rocket. Rocket Raccoon, to me, is just, I don't know, an underrated character in the Marvel world, so I'm going with Rocket as my next pick.
I almost went with Rocket with that pick, but I was like, no, I feel like Star-Lord is bigger. And you're right, we are getting to the nitty-gritty of this, and I got to do this, Loudbeard. I got to go with, because there's so many people left, but so little. Like it's kind of like now we're kind of even on here on all these things. And do I want to go with is it Heimel? Is that guy's name? The Guardian Keeper of.
If you can't
that-
say his name, you can't pick him.
I'm looking for his name on here on my list
Himdall.
of Hindle.
There's a
That's
D
it.
in there. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Himdall. There we go.
You're gonna.
Himdall. I
gonna
really
call
like
the-
him as a character. He's a BA. I was really upset when he died in the movie. But then I'm like, well, we don't have
Spoiler
any women.
alert.
We don't have any women picked in this at all either. And I'm gonna go with the woman because one, I need a woman on my list. I don't want people to be like, oh, you're sexist. We only pick men, even though it still looks bad that I'm making her my last pick. And she was the centerpiece of this entire movie. And she's little did we know throughout this entire 22 movie series, and especially once Guardians of the Galaxy came out, we didn't know that she'd be the centerpiece of this entire storyline, and that is Gamora. And she was the best actress in this entire movie, and the storyline, the arc of her character was just amazing. And spoiler alert again, turn your radio down, her getting sacrificed for the stone was just a great added touch. Her relationship with Thanos, and it just was, it made the storyline. It made Avengers even better than what it would have been without her character arc.
Okay. So now I'm gonna talk this out in my head. Since I have the last pick here, I can take a little bit of time and talk this out. So we've got Black Widow, who I think's been a big part of the Avengers, but just not as much of a fan favorite. War Machine, guy is very, very talented. You know, lots of guns. Falcon. Yeah, okay. Groot. I think Groot. His hand now is the axe for your favorite character,
Yes.
Thor.
And
So
he's
there's
a fan
so many
favorite.
choices.
He's a huge fan favorite. Kids love him.
Yeah, I think I've got to do it. I was thinking Doctor Strange. I was thinking Vision. I really don't like those characters, right? Like Doctor Strange to me, I'm not a big fan of. I got to go with the guy that I am a huge fan of, and that's Groot. So now I've got Rocket Raccoon and Groot. That's the best tag team there is. They're
if
greater
you're-
than the Road Warriors.
If you were opening up a shop in the mall that sold plush dolls or stuffed animals, you'd kill it with the Groot and Rocket stuffed animals.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, big time.
They'd be flying off the shelves.
If I opened a Hot Topic, I would be number one in sales in my
Yeah.
region.
You'd have all the Groot T-shirts would be gone.
Yeah, everybody loves Groot.
Groot
you know,
and eye makeup
I
would be
I
flying
can
off the
speak
shelves
Groot.
at Hot
It was
Topic.
an elective in high school.
Good. All right, Loudbeard, any more quick hitters before we go out the door? We got 3 minutos.
Yeah, no, I did my rapid fire before the draft.
Oh, so we're all out? Okay, so Sky Kaiser is really mad at my Spider-Man take, and I'm sure a lot of fans are going to be too. So I said I could name 10 Marvel characters that I like more than Spider-Man. We'll see if I can do it. I know I can name 5. Okay, so we got Wolverine's my number 1. Deadpool's my number 2. Now no particular order. You got Thor. You got maybe this is harder than I thought. I got to write this down. But you got Thor. Those are my top 3. I do
Squirrel
like
Girl.
Professor X.
Don't forget Squirrel Girl. She's one of your
Squirrel
favorites.
Girl, she's up there.
Yep.
Now I got to really look at it. Black Panther is up there. Oh, I do like me some Punisher because again, I'm more of an anti-hero guy. I'm more of that guy that loves the rough around the edges, is angry most of the time, has a deep storyline, not this clean cut, goody two shoes, all American type characters. I just never liked them. Just never have.
You're a hater, Chris America.
I am a
I mean,
hater.
It's pretty un-American to say that you don't like Spider-Man. I'm just saying
It's
right
not
now.
that I don't not like him. It's that
He
he's-
wears red, white, and blue, Chris America. Do you not like
just-
the colors of
it's
your
just red and
American
blue.
flag? Is
It's
that
just
what
red
the
and blue.
problem is?
I mean, Russia has red, white, and blue.
The
don't they?
webs are white.
So are you Russian?
Don't do that.
Are
His
you
web
Russian?
is white.
You're Russian, aren't you?
Oh,
you love
stop
Russia.
It. You're
you just said it.
communist.
You just said it. You love Russia. Communist.
I love Mother Russia.
Mother Russia.
Yeah, he's red, white, and blue. I'm just saying that. So Spider-Man isn't.
So maybe
great
Spider-Man
American.
is. So maybe Spider-Man is in my top 10.
Yeah.
He's just not my top 5. He's not if I had T-Mobile, he wouldn't be in my fave 5.
Is that still a thing?
I don't think so. But
Now
Shaq
that
and Dwayne Wade, they were in each other's Fave Fives, and I love those commercials.
Now that everybody's got unlimited everything,
Yeah.
Fave 5 doesn't really matter
5 doesn't
a whole
exist.
lot. Oh, that's craziness, Chris America. Well, sir, it's been an absolutely phenomenal show. I've enjoyed it. Another week is in the record books. Monday, I may not talk anything about sports because I probably will talk about Game of Thrones and Endgame, but then I can't give spoilers, so maybe I won't talk about either of them. Maybe I will just talk about Game 7 for the Spurs and the Nuggets. Who knows? It could be
Yes.
a crazy weekend for us, Chris
Yes,
America.
big week for us, man. Getting on the Full Press Coverage Radio Network. Of course, we're always on 12 Ounce Sports Radio, and you can get us at all of our different locations of podcasts for Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, and Stitcher. Check us out. Subscribe. Peace.
Hey, what's up there, listeners? This is your friendly neighborhood Loudbeard, and I'm here to tell you that there's two type of people in the world, those that are on a podcast and those that want to be on a podcast. And if you are one of those out there that want to be on a podcast, one of the first decisions you will need to make is which podcast host you want to use. That's right. If you're thinking about starting a podcast, you need to check out Podbean. Here at Scout Team Radio, we have been using Podbean since the very beginning, and we absolutely love it. They are easy to use, and they have affordable options. Just go to podbean.com/STR. That's right, Scout Team Radio. Podbean.com/STR to get started today. What are you waiting for?